Have you thought of moving to the regional area or the countryside? Well, that's what we did about 3.5 years ago. So I am originally from the Philippines, but I've been a city girl from ever since I was born. My husband's from New South Wales, but he grew up in the regional Victoria. So for him, country life is not really a new thing. So we went to Melbourne for jobs. We stayed there for a decade, and we had a son. And it's always been in the background that once we have our own family, we will decide to move to the country. So we looked around and we've decided to stay in South Gippsland. So this is the area where we are now. It's not too far away from Melbourne. So it's only an hour and a half away from Melbourne. So it's not too far away and it's not too close. You'd still be able to feel that country lifestyle. And if you need to be in Melbourne, it's not going to be too far. So we quit our job and we purchased a business here in South Gippsland. And that made the transition a lot easier for us. I'll be sharing 5 pros and cons of living in the countryside. So maybe we will start with the cons first. So the first cons would be if you are into shopping, you love that lifestyle, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge because we have limited resources in the area. But in saying that, we have local makers, local produce, and it's quite interesting to see as well. Number 2 would be the towns are about 15 to 30 minutes away from each other. So if you need to go to, say, a supermarket, although you have a local supermarket in your town, but if you need something more than what your local supermarket offers, then you have to travel 15 to 30 minutes away just to get better options. But we're very used to it now. 15, 30 minutes travel for one thing is not a big deal for us anymore. And I think that is something that we have already got used to. It's not really an issue to be traveling. I remember some of our friends would say, oh, it's an hour away, that's too far away. But for us living in the country, that's just a normal travel for us. So it takes a while for you to get used to it. It'll start as an inconvenience, but then later on it's just part of your normal life. So number 3 would be workforce. There's limited opportunity in the country. Again, sometimes you have to travel 30 to 45 minutes away, next town, for your work if that's where you found a job. Number 4, it could be repetitive. So because even if we are surrounded with beautiful tourist spots, beautiful nature, it can be repetitive, and for us it's just the usual thing now. Whereas people from the city, they travel to our area during the holidays to enjoy the nature and see what's out there. But for us, because it's so close by, and that's all we do. We just explore the environment, and it can be quite repetitive, but it depends on your lifestyle. We love the nature. We love being out and about, so it's not an issue. But yeah, so there's just that. You just have to keep in mind that it can be a bit not boring, but it can be a bit repetitive. And number 5 is public transportation. So we don't have train station in town. We only have coaches, local buses that travel from different towns to the city, and it's very limited. And sometimes I don't think it runs on time. So that's another challenge. You really need to have your own car to be able to travel and to be able to go to different towns. So yeah, you need to drive. You need to learn how to drive. So those are the 5 cons that I can share with you. Now we're going to the pros. So the pros I've already mentioned, we're only an hour and a half away from Melbourne City. So if we want to have a taste of that city life again, we can always do it, even a day trip. But we're not used to the Melbourne traffic anymore. So sometimes if we have to go to the city and do a few things, we just book a hotel just so we don't need to rush going back home. And if that's not an issue for you, then you can absolutely do a day trip. You just have to find the right time and the right day to do it. And number two, if you are a nature lover, we have beautiful rolling hills and beautiful greeneries. We are very close to a lot of tourist spots, so that's a bonus. We have lots of good schools around. Different towns have good public and private schools, and that's one of the reasons why we chose South Gippsland. We have access to healthcare, we have urgent care next town, we have a few tertiary hospitals, major hospitals, which are only about half an hour away. And also, if you call an ambulance, it's quite quick, only I think because our population is very small. It doesn't really take too long for emergencies to arrive. We're very close to tourist spots. So the major tourist spots that we are very well known for are Wilson's Promontory, Phillip Island. We are very close to Inverloch, a lot of beaches around. We are very close to different wineries as well, local markets, and we have a lot of iconic town cafes and restaurants. So those are the things that you just need to check out. But yeah, those are the main tourist spots that we are very, very well known for. And number five, this is my favorite part, the sense of community. The sense of community in countryside is something that I've never experienced living in Melbourne. I have a few friends in Melbourne that I can call whenever I need help, or whenever I need, someone to talk to. But living in Melbourne, we barely know our neighbors, and I just feel like in the city, people are always in the rush. They come home from work and then they will have to do everything so quickly, because before you know it, it's dinner time. You have to do shopping and then prepare all the kids for bed. You're always on autopilot, and it's so fast paced. Even if you want to go to the supermarket, it will take you 10-15 minutes to get to the supermarket because of the amount of stoplights that you have to cross. I remember where we used to live, we had to cross about at least 3 stoplights just to get to the supermarket. And because of the traffic, sometimes it takes me about 10 minutes to get into the car park. It's actually quicker if I just walk. Yep, so the sense of community is very strong. Everyone knows everyone. Everyone's willing to help. I remember we had very bad typhoon about a couple of years ago, and the roads were blocked. It was difficult for the council to help everyone out. We had no power, we had no water, we didn't have all the basic needs, but the community helped each other to clear the road. For people who had generators, they offered help, they offered hot water or whatever they can offer. Our dog escaped, and the postman just brought the dog back because he knew where the dog lived. So that's the beauty of living in the countryside. Like, everyone looks after everyone. So that's my favorite part. Yeah, so those are my 5 pros and cons. If moving to the country is in the back of your head, I think the first thing that you have to think about and to consider is obviously work. Will you be able to find a job in that area to secure something so that you can just move forward with your life? I think that's the main thing. If you have kids, look for schools, for emergency services, hospitals, and things like that, and resources according to your lifestyle. So if you've considered all of that, I think it will be very easy for you to adjust, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. When we moved to the country, I realized that 95% of my stress was because we were living in Melbourne. I mean, Melbourne is a beautiful city. Don't get me wrong, I love Melbourne. But because I was always on autopilot, and I didn't even realize that my stress was because of, every day commuting to work, the traffic, so many people, the you're always on high alert as well. And moving to the country, it felt really different because life here is a lot slower, and we were able to enjoy our spare time. Like, we want to go somewhere, we don't have to go through a lot of traffic lights. In fact, I think we only have 2 traffic lights in town and that's about it. So cruisy. Even if you think about, oh, we have to travel half an hour to get to that town, but realistically, it's just going to be like one straight long drive with beautiful scenery, beautiful rolling hills. Before you know it, you're already in your destination. So rather than, you know, sitting in the traffic lights and dealing with other drivers, we don't have that here. So yeah, if you're going to ask me, do I have any regrets of moving to the country? The answer is big no. If you ask me if I'm gonna move back to the city, no way. I'll be happy to visit friends, stay there for a couple of nights, go around the city, buy whatever I want, and, you know, just for a change, yep, I will do that. But moving and leaving back to the city, it's gonna be a big no-no for me. So I love the country life. This is the life that we have now. It's very peaceful. You're always on your zen. The vibe is so good. I know there's some bad eggs as well. They're everywhere, but it's not as bad as what you hear that's been happening in the city. So yeah, so if this helped you with your decision of moving to the country or regional or anywhere in any state, I hope this was able to help you think about it, things that you want to consider. My tip would be list down all the pros and cons, list down all your top priorities and what your lifestyle is like, and then you can go from there. And that's how we did it. And it was really easy. So yeah, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.